Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another Thursday morning bite-sized Buhl. My name is Kayla. I am the staff educator in the Buhl Planetarium. And before we get started today, I want to make everyone aware that we are recording this Facebook Live to post on our YouTube channel, and the participants in this Facebook Live have consented to be recorded. Now today we've got a very special Stellarium tour planned for you. Now, Stellarium is a free software. It's one of the favorite softwares that I like to tell all of our visitors about because you can download it at home, on your phone, or on your computer, and you can follow along. Now, the settings I have, if you do happen to have Stellarium open, I am set to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at 9:30 tonight. Today, we're going to be saying goodbye to a few of our summer constellations and welcoming in those fall constellations. Starting our tour today, I always like to start by finding 7 very bright, very easy to spot stars. I like to play a little game called star hopping with these stars. To start our star hopping game, we're actually going to look fairly low on the horizon. You will see 1, 2, 3 stars that make a handle. 1, 2, 3, 4 stars that make a bowl. This is a shape you may recognize as the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper is what we call an asterism, which means it's unique depending on who's looking up around the world. Here in the United States, we all see the Big Dipper as a spoon. But if we traveled to England, they saw a plow. In China, they saw the emperor's cart. So it became very hard for early astronomers to share information. We were all calling the same region of the sky by a different name. Until the International Astronomical Union agreed upon 88 official constellations that would be recognized by astronomers worldwide. So no matter who you talk to from around the world, they'll be able to tell what part of the sky you're looking in. While the Big Dipper is not an official constellation, it is the tail of a constellation. The Big Dipper is the tail of Ursa Major, the Big Bear. Now, this is my favorite starting point in the sky. Not only are these stars very bright and easy to see, but it's made mostly of straight lines. These straight lines will point you to other stars in our sky. There's one star in particular that these group of stars are very handy at finding. To find it, we're going to use the outer 2 stars in the bowl of our dipper. Their names are Merak and Dubby. I want you to take your finger, draw a line from Merak to Dubby, and continue it out into space about 5 times the width of those stars, and you'll land here. This is the most important nighttime star when you're trying to find your way around. You may know it as the North Star. Its official name is Polaris. Now, Polaris looks a little bright in our software here. It's actually a very dim star. Without the help of the Big Dipper, you could easily overlook it. But now that we've found it, we now know which direction we are facing. If we're looking towards the North Star, we are facing due north. It's very easy to find your other directions once you know where north is. If north is in front of you, south is directly behind you. To your left will be the west. To your right will be the east. One easy way to remember is never eat slimy worms or soggy waffles, because those are not good either. Polaris makes up the handle of another figure in our sky. You may know it as the Little Dipper. The official constellation we find here is Ursa Minor, the little bear. Now, our Big and Little Bear are part of a set of constellations we call circumpolar constellations, which is a very fancy way to say they make a circle around Polaris, which means we can actually see these constellations all year long here in Pittsburgh. The only thing that changes is their position. Sometimes Ursa Major will be low on the horizon. Sometimes it'll be above Ursa Minor. It just depends on when you're looking up. But today, we want to take a look at some seasonal constellations, which means we need to look in another region of our sky. We're going to begin by spinning to the south. Now here we are looking towards the south. This is where all of the action happens throughout the year. This part of the sky is constantly changing. And I want to start our tour by locating another very famous asterism. This asterism is actually so bright, you can spot it here in the city of Pittsburgh. Now, it's made up of 3 different stars that belong to 3 different constellations. Starting high overhead, we find the star Vega. Inside of Lyra, the harp. Swinging downwards, we will come to the star Altair. Inside of Aquila, the eagle. And swinging back up, we will find the star Deneb, which means tail feather. It's the tail of Cygnus, the swan. Vega, Altair, and Deneb make up what we call the summer triangle. Now, despite its name being the summer triangle, it can actually tell you the start of 3 different seasons based on its location at sunset. It was used by ancient farmers to tell the start of summer, fall, and winter. We can see that it's getting very high in the sky now. It's almost directly above us. When it is directly above us, that is the official start of fall. If it is on the western horizon, that's the start of winter. And if it is on the eastern horizon, that is the start of summer. I always get very excited when I see the summer triangle creeping high overhead, because that means beautiful weather, but also beautiful night sky viewing is on its way. The summer triangle will point you down to a few more constellations in our sky. Looking directly south, you may see what looks like a giant teapot. That teapot shape is the center of Sagittarius, the centaur archer. Now, our teapot is very easy to spot in our sky. We can see here is the handle, here is the spout, and if you're looking at it just right, you may see steam rising out. Now, what we're seeing is not actually steam. Our ancestors believed it was a milky substance. What we're seeing is the Milky Way galaxy, our home galaxy. Just like the city of Pittsburgh creates light pollution, so does our galaxy. Our galaxy is home to billions of stars. The light from those stars is bouncing off of gas and dust in space, creating this beautiful glow that you can spot in a dark sky. Now, the large bulge we see right by the spout of our teapot, that's the center of our galaxy. But we can see a trail leading up through the stars. That's the closest spiral arm to the arm that we live in. Now, next door to our teapot, you'll find another figure in our sky. This figure was known to the Polynesians as Maui's Hook. You may recognize it from the Disney movie Moana. That hook shape is actually the hook-shaped tail of Scorpius, the scorpion. Now, the scorpion has a bright red heart named Antares, which roughly translates to not Mars, which is very fitting if you think about it. You see, Scorpius and Sagittarius are two of 12 very special constellations in our sky that we call the zodiac. The zodiac fall along a path we call the ecliptic, or the apparent path that the sun, the moon, and the major planets appear to take from our perspective here on Earth. So if you're ever wanting to spot a planet in the night sky, you want to make sure you look along the path of the zodiac. Now, our ancient astronomers were so confused by Antares because it looks very similar to Mars in the night sky that they had to name that star not Mars. Now, tonight at about 9:30, you will not be able to spot Mars, but there are two planets you can see in the sky. When you're looking for a planet, you want to start by looking for bright points of light. Planets often look like bright stars in the sky. But if you watch that light for several seconds, you can see whether or not it appears to twinkle. Stars that are very far away appear to twinkle as their light enters our atmosphere. Planets that are much closer do not appear to twinkle in our eye. So if you find a light that doesn't appear to be twinkling, you just spotted a planet. And fall is some of the best planet viewing times that you can look up. To find our planets tonight, we're going to look towards the southeast. We'll see what looks like a giant sail or maybe an arrowhead shape. This is Capricornus, the mergoat. Within our mergoat, there are those two planets we can spot. Nestled inside of the mergoat is our first planet. This is the beautiful ringed planet, Saturn. Now, Saturn's rings, while they're very, very wide, are actually very thin. On average, they're about 30 feet thick. Because they are so thin, they can actually perform a disappearing act. As Saturn orbits around the sun, just like Earth, it wobbles on its axis. It tilts towards the sun and away from the sun. As it wobbles, there's a brief period of time where we look at those rings edge on. And because they are so thin, they appear to disappear from our view. Now, there's another illusion that these rings create. They look like solid lines, but they're actually made up of billions of pieces of ice, rock, and other debris that is in orbit around Saturn. But let's back away so we can find our other planet in the sky. Nestled just outside of Capricornus, just to the bottom of it, we will see the largest planet in our solar system, Jupiter. Jupiter is a gas giant, 10 times as wide as the Earth. It's made of mostly hydrogen and helium gas, very similar to what our sun is made out of. And Jupiter is known for its great red spot, which unfortunately at about 9:30, if you are using a telescope, that spot will not be in your view just because of how Jupiter has rotated. That spot has been raging for hundreds of years. Scientists determined that storm is actually beginning to shrink. It used to measure 3 Earths wide. Now it's only slightly bigger than 1 Earth. Now we've taken a look at a few of our summer constellations, Scorpius and Sagittarius. Let's take a look at a few of our fall constellations. Fall is my favorite time to look up in the sky because there are so many things that we can see. Now, to spot some of our fall constellations, let's look towards the east. If you have any trees or hills in your neighborhood, it'll be a little tricky to spot these next two constellations that I'm going to show you. But if you happen to live somewhere where it's relatively flat or on the top of a hill, you'll be able to spot two of my favorite fall constellations. Looking towards the east, you'll see what looks like a giant square. We call this the Great Pegasian Square, or the Great Square of Pegasus. The Flying Horse. Now within Pegasus is a star called Alpheratz, which means the belly button of the horse. The belly button of our horse is also the head of another constellation in our sky. It's a A-shaped constellation in this software here. It looks a little like an upside down T. This is Andromeda, the maiden. Now within Andromeda is something we call a deep space object. This is an object outside of our solar system that you can spot using just your eyes. Now to locate it, we're going to count 2 stars to the left of the horse's belly button. So 1, 2, and just above this star, you're going to see a very faint light. With a pair of binoculars, this light will take on an egg-like shape, but with a telescope, you will be able to spot the Andromeda Galaxy. This is the nearest major spiral galaxy to our home galaxy, the Milky Way. Now, Andromeda is located 2.5 million light years away from us. So the light that is entering your eyes is not how Andromeda looks today, but how she looked 2.5 million years ago when her light left. Light needs time to travel. We don't notice it on Earth because we're all very close together. But out here in space, we can observe light travel time. Light travels about 6 trillion miles in 1 year. So I'll let you guys do the math there. Andromeda is located very far away from us. The light from our own sun takes about 8 minutes to reach us. So that light is about 8 minutes old as it enters our atmosphere. This is one of the amazing things about stargazing. Not only are the stars very beautiful, but they're like a time machine. This is also how we can learn more about our own galaxy, by observing faraway galaxies. Now, Andromeda is one of my favorite ones to spot in the night sky. She's nearly double the size of the Milky Way. She's home to an estimated 1 trillion stars, which is very beautiful. Andromeda is one of the reasons why fall is my favorite time to look up. As we enter the fall season, there will be so many more deep space objects that you can spot in the sky. And we've just taken a little taste today. We're saying goodbye to a few of those summer constellations. We're welcoming in Pegasus and Andromeda. And there are so many more constellations we'll be able to spot in the coming weeks. But that is the end of our tour today. I hope you enjoyed our little bite-sized Buhl and taking a look at some of those constellations in the sky. Now, before we end today, I just want to remind everyone that we are open at the Science Center. You can purchase your time ticketing online, and our planetarium shows are free to the public, with the exception of our laser show. So if you'd like a more in-depth look at some of our stars in the sky, come visit us at the Buhl Planetarium at the Carnegie Science Center. I hope you all enjoyed this tour this morning, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you all for coming.